It doesn't matter if the vision is like, I want to be the world's greatest stay-at-home dad. It doesn't matter if the vision is, I want a billion-dollar company. It doesn't matter what it is you're trying to achieve. This one thing, I think, makes the biggest difference. Hi guys, it's Rachel. Welcome to another episode of the show. I am coming in hot in a really pretty blouse. And I'm in a really pretty blouse that my husband got me for Mother's Day. And this is the first time that I've worn it. And this is the first time that I've worn it because, as you all know, the saga of me living in a remodel. When we go to the bathroom, we say, I'm in here, don't come in, because the door doesn't close. And how would you know? I'm not really sure where all of my clothes are at the moment, but I'm realizing that because I only have a limited amount of clothes, I feel like I'm being very creative with the clothes that I have, and I feel like I'm wearing stuff I wouldn't normally wear. And I was wondering this morning, because our closet is much smaller in this house than the last house we were in, I was wondering if this is my time to do a capsule wardrobe. Like, is this my capsule wardrobe moment? I'm not sure, but maybe. And if I'm going to do a capsule wardrobe, I'm going to have to watch some YouTube videos. But like, how do you edit down? Because my natural gravitate to it is probably going to be a bunch of solid, I don't really love a print, but I have an occasional moment like this blouse, which is just, look how pretty this is, guys. I'm going to do some research. I'll let you guys know. If you are joining us on YouTube, thank you for being here. And this is the moment where I'm supposed to tell you to subscribe and like this video, and maybe you'll see more of them. Today, I wanted to talk about this hack that really freaking works to change your life, to allow you to embody the person that you want to become. Let me talk to you a little bit about this concept of future you. I love future. Let me explain that better. I think there are different kinds of people. In fact, I think there are three different kinds of people. There are people who live in the past. They focus completely on what has happened, good or bad. They kind of cling to those old memories. They cling to the idea of the good old days, like back when it was better. Or there are people who cling to past traumas, to past pain points. They hold on to those things that were really painful. They are constantly in this loop of remembering over and over again what happened with their parents, what happened with their ex, what happened when they were children. And trauma does that to us. It traps us oftentimes at the age we were when those things happened. But there are people who almost live entirely in the past. They might be physically present in this moment, but in their head, they're constantly living in the past, and they're constantly seeing their present reality through the lens of what has already happened. Then there are, I think, sort of the rare few, my husband is one of these people, who live in the present. They're incredibly present where they are. They're not really thinking about the past. They don't really dream big dreams about the future. They go with the flow. Okay, how'd you do? Oh my, I can literally see your face. I would say Jack, producer Jack, is the same way, very present. As a side note, the people I know who are present are the happiest people I know. I don't know more chill or happy people than people who are focused right now, here today. They are present where their feet are. And I think a lot of us, those who work on ourselves and our hearts, our goal is to be more present, right? Especially if you have family and friends, you want to be present in this space. You want to enjoy these moments. But then there's a third kind of person, which is where I naturally gravitate to. I am future focused. I am always thinking about what comes next. I'm always planning and dreaming, and what if this and what if that? I'm constantly in the future. Because I am in the future, again, this sounds so weird, because my mindset is always kind of thinking about what comes next. I've been able to map the road to where I want to get to. I've been able to achieve a lot of career success because I was able to go okay, this is where it is that I'm aiming at. Then I would just get really excited using my imagination to figure out what that future version of me looked like. What does she act like? What does she dress like? What is her office like? Where does she go on dates with her husband? Where does she go on vacation? Like, who are her friends? I get really, really, really hyper focused on all the things that are gonna be manifest in my life when I get to a certain point. This is what Start Today Journal was all about. It was all about envisioning the version of yourself 10 years in the future and then kind of backing up to where you are today and figuring out the roadmap to get there. So I love this concept of future you. I love this concept of what are the things that are kind of pulling us into the next step of our life? How do we get unstuck? How do we leave that crossroads, that space of indecision, and take steps in the direction of the person that we want to become? So the caveat I will add to this message is, if I say, who do you want to be 10 years from now? Where do you want to show up in the world? Where do you want to live? What kind of life do you want to have 10 years in the future? If that feels too overwhelming, bring it back. Try 5 years in the future. Where do you want to be 5 years from now? If that feels like too much, okay, where do you want to be on your next big birthday? Chunk it down until you get to a number, even if it's 6 months, where you feel like, okay, I can kind of map out 6 months from now that doesn't feel like too much. Once you have that concept of who it is you want to be, it doesn't matter if the vision is like, I want to be the world's greatest stay-at-home dad. It doesn't matter if the vision is, I want $1 billion company. It doesn't matter if the vision is, I want to start a nonprofit to rescue weenie dogs. It doesn't matter what it is you're trying to achieve. This one thing, I think, makes the biggest difference. This one thing allows you to act as if that has already occurred. Act as if you are already the person. But how? How do you act as if you've never experienced that future self before? How do you know what to do? I got a good idea. So I've written a lot of books over the last decade, and once upon a time, that was just a dream. That was a vision I had for future me, and I had no real clue how to get there. I just sort of followed what made sense to me, and it really freaking worked. So the first thing that I did was I started to follow online authors. I started to follow authors. So when you think about who do you want to be 10 years from now, there is a person right now living that life. And you can glean from that person what they are doing and how they are doing it. The second thing that I needed to do was I needed to actually start writing. And I want to be really clear about this because a lot of people just mentally rehearse over and over and over and over and over, and they think they are working on themselves and they think they are working on the goal. Too many people are like, no, I'm working on it. No, sis, did you write the words? Did you call the potential clients? Did you go on the walk? Did you have the hard conversation with your parents? Because if you didn't actually do any work, then you didn't actually do any work. And you can't figure out why you haven't made any traction, and you haven't made any traction because you haven't actually done the thing. I started following those authors and I started writing the words, but here was the first thing that happened that made something click for me. I started going to Starbucks and writing at Starbucks. And I would set a timer. I would always get the same thing. I'd do a shot of espresso. I'd put some gum in my mouth. I'd put on music. But the coolest thing was that I would look around the Starbucks and there were other people there writing too. There were other people there building a business too. There were other people there working on the thing too. So I would go into this environment where people were doing the thing that I wanted to do. Number one, it normalized my behavior. Back then, nobody believed in it. I've told you guys this before. It's just the absolute truth. They were like, you want to do what? You're gonna write a book? Okay. I had to really advocate for myself to get these precious hours on a Saturday. It wasn't an everyday thing. It was like, I got 2 hours on a Saturday. I'm going to write as fast as possible. But it normalized my behavior because I was around other people who were doing the same thing. So even if I went back home and people thought I was crazy, when I went back into that environment with the other writers, I felt like I was on the right path. And it gave me confidence in the dream. If you feel super insecure about the dream, about the vision, get around other people who are doing it. But if you are in a room with people who are trying to do the same thing, you're like, okay, this isn't so crazy. There are other writers out here who are trying to make a go of it too. And then remember I told you that I was watching other authors, and I started to notice through their social media that they would go to conferences. They would go to writers' conferences. So I went to those conferences and I just ate it up. I loved every freaking second of writers' conferences. And then the coolest thing would happen after all of that programming during the day. You'd go to the bar. You'd go to the bar and there would be 500 authors of various levels of success. There'd be newbies like me. Nora Roberts was the first person that I met because her girlfriend was there meeting her for a drink. Ruth Langan, shout out. And Ruth sat down by me and was like, hey, are you new? And I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, I don't know anybody. And she started talking to me. I had no idea who she was or the success that she had had. And she's like, let me introduce you to my friend Nora. And then Nora came and I was like, what is happening right now? And I sat with these two women who had been authors for decades. If you feel insecure about your dream, but you get around people that are further down the path than you are, it normalizes what you are doing and it gives you courage. Something magical happens when you get in spaces with people who are living the life you want to live. So I went to the gym for the first time in a few weeks. This morning I got up early, woke up a teenager who was very grumpy about waking up in the summer, and had him watch the kids so I could go to the gym before I came to work. Not the point, Rach. The point is that when I walked back into the gym, I was like, oh yeah, this is who I am. I'm the person that goes to the gym. I go to the fancy gym, and I want to go to the gym that's fancy because I want to go to the gym and be surrounded by people who take their health very seriously. There are different shapes, there are different sizes, there's every kind of person, but I am telling you, everybody at this gym is taking their health seriously. And I want to be around people like that. So I told y'all I got a new office and I have a private office in a co-working space, but it's like the fancy co-working space. Fancy being the theme today, but it freaking matters. If you can afford fancy, you better pay for fancy. If you can't afford fancy or you're not into it, fine. But if you can afford a nicer, a more elevated experience, I am telling you, getting in those environments does change the way you see yourself. It is so different than if you go to a place where like the energy is like, ugh, and no one's doing anything cool and they're like hating their jobs and hating their life. It makes a difference to be here. I swear to you, when I come into this space, I get more work done. I feel like I'm working in a big office with lots of people. Like I feel like I work at a company that has a lot of people, but I don't know any of these people yet. I'm really excited to get a kitchen again because I was like, oh, what if I baked cookies for it? What if, Kez made a sourdough? What if we made friends through baking? That's neither here nor there. My point for you today is, when is the last time you put yourself into an environment with people who are living the life you want to live? When's the last time that you made a choice that focused on the future version of yourself and how they would live and how they would shop and how they would eat? When's the last time you did that? To be fair, it would be really easy to listen to me talk about this and think that I mean that you need to spend money. No way. Not at all, actually. When I was a poor, starving student, I moved to Los Angeles at 17. I hadn't even turned 18 yet. Buying my groceries at the 99-cent store, absolutely zero money, working multiple jobs, trying to make a life here. My best friend and I used to go to Beverly Hills at 1 o'clock in the morning. Beverly Hills, all the stores on Rodeo Drive and surrounding streets would keep all of their lights on. All of the shops would be lit up, right? Givenchy and Gucci and Ralph Lauren and Cartier and Tiffany's, they would all be lit up. And I never would have had the courage to go there during the day. Now, 20 years later, Beverly Hills is the most touristy spot in the city. But back in the day, it was like Pretty Woman. You would not go there unless you had money. I would imagine the day where I could walk through Beverly Hills and walk into any store and buy anything that I wanted to. It's funny because when I was 18, I thought that was 2 years away. And the reality is it was about 20 years away, because that is the life I live today. I don't really shop in Beverly Hills. There is a very beautiful Ralph Lauren store that I like to go walk around in, but I don't feel scared to walk into any store there. I am living a life today where I could go in and buy anything I want. And I don't say that to sound like a douchebag, because I know that it can. I am telling you, something magical happens when you get in those spaces on the regular. You see how people behave, you see how people dress, you see how people carry themselves. So whatever the future version of you is going to be doing in 5 years or 6 months or 10 years, whatever I said that tracks with you, do what you can with what you've got. I don't want you to go into debt. I don't want you to spend money you don't have, but put yourselves into those environments. I remember Jesse Itzler telling this story when he was on the podcast, where he said he wanted to be in environments where people were like making deals.
And I'm like, you don't have to be a guest at the hotel for $4,000 a night to come to lunch at the Polo Club. He's like, no, you got to order a salad. We go to lunch. I'm sleeping on this guy's couch. I'm living out of my suitcase. And I'm looking around. I'm like, that's Russell Simmons. That's the guy that runs Miramax. That's the head of Warner Brothers TV. So that became my office. I went there every day, literally. And I would have a salad and like a glass of water. I started watching the mannerisms of the experts. How do they tip? Do they stand up to greet people? Then I go back and I sleep on my friend's couch with 5 other guys in the house, but I'm picking up these habits. But more importantly, I'm in the bathroom with the guy. Hey, can I get you this? Can I open the door? And I'm being noticed.
There are ways to game this system. There are ways to hack the life that you want to have. But if you want to act as if, you have to have some concept of what that looks like. And getting inside of environments is, man, it is the quickest way I know of to get that result. I would love to challenge you guys. If anything I said in today's episode resonated with you, I would love to challenge you to get in an environment where you are living like the person that you want to be. And if you are watching this on YouTube, will you comment and tell us what that environment is? If you actually do this thing, will you tell us what it is? And maybe it'll give ideas to the rest of the community. You could say, here's my vision for my life. And so this week I went and did this thing and these were the results. Before I let you guys go today, I wanted to tell you something really cute that happened this morning with Noah. I just thought it was really, really sweet. I told you all, got up early. She got up with me, because that's the thing, right? When we decide to get up early, that's when our kid's like, I will also wake up at 5:30. I'm like, cool, whatever. I'll just still go about my routine. And, she did her thing and made her breakfast and whatever. I come back from the gym about an hour later and I walk in. She says, how was the gym, Mom? And I was like, honestly, girl, it was really hard today. And she looked at me. She's like, that's okay, because we can do hard things. Right, Mom? We can do hard things. And it so touched my heart that this little 8-year-old girl is encouraging me, but also that the stuff I say gets through. And it's resonating when you're teaching it to someone else. Meaning, they say if you really want to understand a concept, you teach it. Keep saying the thing. Keep talking to them about it. Keep pushing them to be a better version of themselves. Keep seeing the good in those babies. Keep encouraging them, because it does permeate. Doesn't always seem like it, but it really gets in there. Yeah, I loved that reminder today. I thought maybe some of you could use it too. I hope you are enjoying our new content and our new rhythm for the show. I would love it if you would share this with a friend or share it on your social or get the word out. We will be back with another episode. And until then, as always, guys, I love you and I'm rooting for you.